Hey guys and gals, my name is Quinlan if you did not know that, and today I'm going to be reviewing Scarlxrd's newest album, Doom 2. Scarlxrd is a UK metal rap artist, and Doom 2 is the sequel to the original Doom project, which released all the way back in 2018. Doom and Doom 2 see Scarlxrd really honing in on his metal rap genre, but it's definitely got more metal elements than rap elements, with most of the rap elements being screamed. There are a lot of guitar riffs and very aggressive, dark and murderous tones, atmospheres, themes and lyrics. But that doesn't really come as a surprise when it comes to Scarlxrd, but is definitely more metal based than rap based. The album is 21 songs and 54 minutes, so there is a lot of content, and because this genre is so abrasive on the ears, it does cause there to be problems with the album. First of all, being really long. Generally, long albums have problems in them, but it is also just going to be quite difficult to listen to from back to front because there are so many heavy guitar riffs and just screaming noises from Scarlxrd because of this genre. The first track, Apxcalypse, is a perfect album opener. It sets up the atmosphere and the general metal rap genre and tone that is going to be accompanying the listener for the rest of the album absolutely perfectly. I really love Scarlxrd's energy. His murderous lyrics and murderous tone is really, really cool. And my favorite part about this track, as well as a couple of other tracks such as which is the fourth track on the album, is the parts where the beat will just be absolutely knocking and Scarlxrd will be screaming. And there will be, on this track in particular, ad-libs where Scarlxrd is screaming the same rap lines that he was screaming just before that straight back to himself. The second track, Kill or Be Killed, is a decent track in my opinion. Scarlxrd does a good performance, but I really don't like the pre-chorus or the part of the refrain where it goes, I don't want to go, I don't want to go, I don't want to go, I don't want to go. It's just a little bit repetitive and a little bit boring and lazy. The rap verses are decent. The best part about this track is probably the Kill or Be Killed screaming refrain, because what I often take for granted is Scarlxrd's screaming ability. He is an absolutely amazing screamer and very unique in his tone of voice and ability to continuously scream on one track, but also throughout every single track, being able to scream continuously throughout most of his music is just very impressive. The next two tracks, Leeches as well as
What do you gain from that?
Are very short tracks, and they're supposed to be short bangers, but they are both extremely underproduced in my opinion. They've got very muddy vocals, and the general beats are quite flat and boring and just in the background. They don't really come to light or anything like that. So they just result in two very bland, boring tracks. And I guess the best parts about them are that, first of all, they're pretty short, and second of all, because they are underproduced, they aren't very abrasive on the ear, and they don't cause for some hard hearing that will eventually affect you later on when you are getting into 14, 15 tracks into the album and you are getting sick and tired of all of this loud noise that is accompanying you. The next two tracks, Nobody Gives a Frick If You Die as well as Drown 6 Times, are some of the better tracks in the lineup, with Drown 6 Times being a definite highlight. The absolutely insulting lyrics that Scarlxrd is throwing out, basically saying nobody gives a frick if you die. Like, imagine being told that, as well as to drown in your own. For some reason, those types of lines resonate with me, and you can sort of put yourself into his shoes, rap from his perspective towards people that you just don't like. I really like that about Scarlxrd, and it hypes me up because he is an outlet for a lot of people who just want to scream or want to get rid of all of the stress and emotion that they are being forced to pent up and build up. I don't even know if pent up is a word, or words rather, a phrase. You can sort of scream with him. The energy is off the charts. I really like the screaming refrains, and once again, the murderous lyrics and tones are very, very good. The next 3 tracks, Destroy the Cure, No Chance of Survival, as well as Robot, are 3 pretty boring tracks. The monotone screaming as well as very flat rap verses just cause very obvious skips. These are 3 skips, and these are 3 tracks that I think should never have made it onto the album because the album is long as it is. The next track, Natural Selection, features some of Scar's crazy quick raps and dark aggressive lyrics, and the beat accompanies him very, very well. And there are also some nice slow scream raps just to add a bit of versatility and variety to the overall track. When I say scream raps, it's like he's rapping a very slow verse, but every single word that he is saying, he is screaming, and it just works. If you don't listen to Scarlxrd, you don't know what I'm talking about, but it just works for some reason. It is definitely a good track in the lineup, and I think it's what Scar was looking to do on the 3 tracks before it, but just couldn't execute it because it's a solid track that embodies the metal rap genre that he is going for. The next track, Utopia equals Mass Genocide, is a "What did you say, nigga?" very experimental interlude because the vocals are very unique, and the fact that they've got this really cool and weird auto-tune. Scar actually is pretty funny on the track with a few ad-libs. I enjoy it because it is a breath of fresh air from all of these very heavy metal rap tracks with a lot of screaming. The next track, Stand Your Ground, is extremely boring, extremely flat, and I don't even remember it. I don't remember anything from it. It is definitely one of the worst tracks on the album and definitely shouldn't have made it onto the album. The next track, Do I Still Dream, features some pretty slow raps and a very, very gritty beat. I absolutely love it when Scarlxrd embarks on these slower rapped screamo tracks with really murderous, unique beats, because I just feel the energy that he is exuding, and it's just a pleasure to listen to. This track, as well as Get Him and Evil Ego, are all tracks that embody this, and they're some of my favorite tracks on the album. I absolutely love the eerie guitar riff on the next track, Caution. It absolutely makes the track, and Scarlxrd's performance over it is very, very good with his fast rap, his screaming once again, and the energy just complements it perfectly. It's a great combo of things, and I really, really like the instrumental, and it's a very unique, very eerie and dark, and great. The next track, Serotonin, has a crazy serial killer beat. And Scarlxrd's slow raps on top of it creates a really weird contrast, but a really cool combo at the end of the day. And it's really cool to hear a bit of uniqueness and a bit of experimentation from Scarlxrd's side, at least on the instrumental side, because there are way too many tracks on this album with recurring guitar riffs that just sound the same and don't really do anything for me. So the next 3 tracks, Evil Ego, Red Light, as well as Let the World Burn, were all released before the actual album was released, as well as Apxcalypse literally a day or 2 before the album actually released. And I enjoy all of the singles. Evil Ego, as I mentioned before, is one of my favorite slower rapped tracks, but there are some really crazy lyrics from this track in particular. But in general, what I do like across the whole album is that there are some really nice, crazy, insulting, and just crazy lines that Scarlxrd is going to be rapping. It's a nice addition to the album because I'm not looking to listen to this album for crazy wordplays and great lyrics talking about various themes and stuff. Red Light, I think, is a decent track. I think the rap verses are nothing that we haven't heard from Scarlxrd before, and I don't really like the refrain. It's very, very repetitive. But Let the World Burn is my favorite track across the whole album. The crazy energy and very fast-paced beats, as well as very fast raps accompanied with screamed ad-libs, just create a very crazy and high-octane energy for the general track. I really like it, and I also really like the nihilistic themes and messages, wanting the world to burn and not really caring for humanity, because as a human race, you know, we're not that great. The next track, Nightmares, is extremely boring, should have been left off, and is very similar to Stand Your Ground in the fact that I don't remember it, and I don't wish to. The next track, Get Him, is another great slow rap track that I really like. And the last track, Go Kill Yourself, is a typical high energy, high octane Scarlxrd finishing track. I enjoyed it for the most part. I just find the chorus to be really, really good. I just find the verses rather to be quite repetitive in terms of it's nothing that we haven't heard before from Scarlxrd. But I do really like the mix on it. It's mixed quite loud and mastered quite loudly, which I like because quite a few tracks aren't, and it just creates a nice high octane finisher. In conclusion, the album is decent. I think we've heard a lot of stuff from Scarlxrd on this album that we've heard before. I think that there are way too many tracks. Quite a few should have been cut off, and quite a few tracks sound the same. Most importantly, quite a few tracks are underproduced, way too underproduced, and could bang a lot harder if they were just mastered like the singles that were released before this album were mastered. And it's quite disappointing because I just want to see Scarlxrd produce another Infinity album, another album that is short, decently cohesive, decently concise, but at the same time experimental, but also at the same time really embodying himself and his sound. So overall, I think it's a run-of-the-mill album with quite a few nice highlights from Scarlxrd, but it's definitely not one of his better ones. What's funny is that I don't really mind the pronunciation of the words and the difficult comprehension of a lot of what he is saying, because when you listen to his lyrics on Genius, you really hear the words that he is saying. And thus I'm just going to blame it on the UK accent as well as the screaming. That is what makes it so difficult to hear, as well as the crazy instrumentals and ad-libs going on in the background. So in general, a decent Scarlxrd album with a couple of highlights. Definitely too long. Quite a few tracks could have been cut out, but I am still excited for new Scarlxrd projects, and yeah, it's definitely a 5 out of 10 in my opinion. That is going to conclude my album review. I hope that you enjoyed it. I know that many of the people who watch these videos will definitely not listen to Scarlxrd, so I'm hoping that quite a few new viewers are going to come on here who have actually listened to the album. But please let me know your opinion down below. Follow the various social links in the description, and do the things in it. Much love. Inu yoka mili rock. I know you so well, so well. I mean, I can do anything that he can. I'm a pretty